We have both parties as well as their respective attorneys. Mr. King on behalf of the plaintiff, Ms. Kraus, Mr. Murphy on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Hadsma. We're here on Ms. Kraus's objection to the referee's order to return the child to Michigan. And I do see that the transcript has been submitted. And Mr. King.
Thank you, Your Honor. I laid it out in my brief, I think, fairly succinctly. This basically comes down to whether the referee has the authority to order Ms. Kraus back. She does have sole legal custody. That is something the parties agreed to at the time of the divorce. That allows her to move out of state. Technically, she was supposed to ask the court prior to moving, but the case law is very clear that even if she did, it's a ministerial act. The court grants it as a matter of course. The court's role in determining after granting that as a matter of course, then the court needs to help the parties assist or determine what the proper parenting time schedule would be for Mr. Hadsma in this case. The parties did go to mediation and were not able to reach an agreement on what the proper parenting time schedule would be. But Mr. Hadsma did not object to the move at the time of the move, nor did he object to the move at the time of the mediation. The mediation was specifically only for what the schedule would look like. It wasn't until many months afterwards, approximately 4 months afterwards, that he filed this objection. But he doesn't have standing or the right to block her move, because when he gave up legal custody, he gave up that right to do so. Ms. Kraus is established with the child in Tennessee. She has a home there. She has a job there. She has been willing to work with Mr. Hadsma to bring the child back. In fact, she's done so once. And we believe that the court was in error, the referee was in error when the court ordered Ms. Kraus to return the child back to Michigan. We believe that the only issue left under both the case law and the court rules and statute is that what is Mr. Hadsma's parenting time now going to look like? And we believe that is what should happen. She should remain in Tennessee, and there should be an evidentiary hearing about the parenting time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy.
Your Honor, first of all, I have not seen the transcript. I believe that was supposed to be circulated. I haven't seen the referee Kessler transcript. But I wholeheartedly agree with referee Kessler, and we would ask that the objection be denied and that the child be returned. Secondly, that the evidentiary hearing move forward in late January as scheduled, and that the court also review that paragraph 6 and 7 of the JOD, which contained, I think the referee referred to out of date or antiquated language. Your Honor, clearly under the court rule, a parent with sole legal custody, under the statute 722.31, the parent must seek court approval for the move. And under MCR 3.211, the parties may not agree to waive this approval requirement. As I argued with referee Kessler, plaintiff mother flaunted that. We strongly disagree, and there's a question of fact about my client, quote, agreeing to the move. No, he would never agree to the move. That's why there was a provision in the judgment. And yes, plaintiff did have sole legal, but that did not obviate the court approval process. The Brecht case, which is cited, is inapplicable and has different facts. We would argue that that case involved a mother who moved to North Dakota. However, the court in that case also held a hearing, at least an evidentiary hearing, and the Court of Appeals stated that the 4 statutory factors under 722.31 were not necessarily, did not need to be analyzed, but the hearing was still needed. So we would ask, Your Honor, given the fact that my client has had non-existent parenting time since the move, except for plaintiff coming back to Michigan briefly and August. There's been basically non-existent and a damaged relationship with the 4-year-old child. There's been relatively no phone calls that can be used because mother is interfering or limiting that we maintain the referee ruling. Thank you. And also I would add, Your Honor, plaintiff never notified the FOC in writing of her move either. I'm not aware of that. That is another requirement that was not met, not followed by plaintiff. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I am going to take this under advisement, and I will try to get something out to you here shortly.
Thank you. Just for clarification, Ms. Kraus is in Tennessee. The 30 days are coming up. Should we wait to your order to have her move or not move, as it were?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right,
Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you. We're adjourned.
On the plaintiff's motion to change domicile of the minor child and as well as modify legal custody, as well as defendant's motion for exclusive possession of the minor child. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. Present is attorney Allison Fulmar representing the plaintiff mother, Lacey Sager. Ms. Sager appears to be present with Ms. Fulmar. In addition, attorney Matthew Vidido is present representing the defendant father, Frank Thompson. Mr. Thompson is present. For the record, the court would note that this court did enter an ex parte order on October 29, 2024, which granted defendant father possession of the minor child who had been taken by mother to the state of Iowa without the consent of the defendant father or approval of this court. It's court's understanding that Mr. Thompson actually went out to Iowa and was able to retrieve the child and bring the 7-year-old child back to the state of Michigan. Is that correct, Mr. Vidido?
That's right. And he's enrolled her in school. She's attending school in Adrian Public Schools.
At Madison.
Madison Public Schools.
I'm sorry, Mason?
Madison. It's in Lenawee County.
So neither party lives in Monroe County anymore. Is that correct?
My client has never lived in Monroe County. I believe when the original child support order was entered in 2022, mom had moved in with, or the plaintiff had moved in with her mom in Monroe County, and that was the basis for the court's jurisdiction at that time.
Thank you. What county is Madison? Lenawee? Washtenaw?
Lenawee, right?
Lenawee.
Lenawee, Your Honor.
Okay,
It's in Lenawee County, Your Honor.
thank
So
you.
the party has ties to Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you. That explains things to the court. In any event, the parties have met with Ms. Patrick, our Monroe County in front of the court this morning, who is indicating that regarding the change of domicile, the front of the court will do a recommendation regarding that issue. Both parties and the minor child will be interviewed. In the interim, parenting time will rotate on 4 overnight basis. Commencing plaintiff mother will have the first 4 overnights and defendant will have the next 4 overnights. The child will remain in the state of Michigan until the review date of January 14th, 2025 at 10 a.m. If necessary, at that time, we can schedule evidentiary hearings. And for that, all parenting time exchanges shall be at 6 p.m. at the Monroe City Police Station on 2nd Street here in the city of Monroe. That is a recommendation. Mr. Vidido, is this recommendation agreeable with your client this morning?
Your Honor,
Just a minute, Ms. Fulmar. Let me make inquiry of the defendant first, and I'll turn to you. Mr. Vidido, is this recommendation agreeable with your client this morning?
Your Honor, my client has concerns about the recommendation. If the court would allow me to, I'd like to highlight those reservations about the recommendation.
And did you highlight those reservations for Ms. Patrick?
No, because I think we are running out of time. We mentioned trying to get on the record, but those reservations are namely that we don't know where plaintiff mother is staying now, where the minor child will be sleeping during that parenting time. The recommendation doesn't address the more than 3 months that Miss Sager kept the minor child from my client. We'd ask if that recommendation were going to be filed, that there be some tweaks to it. One is that mom's time wouldn't commence until Tuesday, November 26th, and that the exchange not be in Monroe, because my client lives in Adrian, that it be somewhere closer to where the minor child goes to school in Lenawee County. And that it include a provision that during her parenting time, that the minor child must transport the child to and from school. I think with those modifications, he'd be willing to do that. He has been trying to facilitate time with her, allowing her to come and have supervised visits at the barber shop where he works. So it's not an unwillingness on his part to facilitate parenting time, which is something that he didn't get for 3 months.
Right, and we can, of course, we can reserve make-up parenting time, and Mr. Fiddler, but the court agrees it's a good legitimate question, where mother will exercise her parenting time. Ms. Fomar is parenting time with Ms. Fager and the child will be as the maternal grandmother still live in Monroe County?
No, Your Honor, she lives in Lenawee County in Jerome. We have no problem with giving that information. It's not a secret, so we can give that information. That's no problem. My client was also going to ask with respect to if the meetup location could be somewhere midway between Jerome and Adrian. My client can take the child
Yes,
to.
it should be, yes. Yeah, let's talk about it. Again, if both parties live in Lenawee County, there's no sense of driving all the way to Monroe. And we'll begin, where have the parties been exchanging before Ms. Sager left to Iowa?
In Adrian, but my client, Mr. Thompson, never, not one day, ever took this child to school. So mom has always taken the child to school. So we will, yes, if there can be some meetup location midway between Jerome. I understand that Jerome is about 30 minutes from Adrian. So my client would like to be able to even take their daughter to school. She can take her every day. She's here and she can be here. She doesn't have to have those overnights, but she would like to. And I would just say, Your Honor, for my client apologizes. They were both improper.
Right, we can get past that mistake. Let's move forward. So parenting time will occur at the maternal grandmother's home in Jerome, Michigan. Is that correct?
Yeah, the
Okay, any
grandmother.
objection to that, Mr. Vidal?
Yes, in
mother's
Jerome.
parenting time occur in the maternal grandmother's home in Jerome, Michigan?
Your Honor,
Yes.
that's helpful to know, but it's I don't know that the child has adequate sleeping space there. Whether or not she's going to be sleeping on the couch, that would be helpful to know that as well.
She does, Your Honor. My client is not going to have their daughter sleeping. She's never slept on the couch. Only couch sleeping and sleeping with the 10-year-old brother has been over dad's. So that's
Okay.
that's not an issue. This is my client's only child, and she provides for her to the best of her ability. And
Before,
it's not
hold on, Ms. Sager, we're running a short time here. Before Ms. Fulmer, before Ms. Sager went to Iowa, did the parenting time with the daughter occur? Was she living with the maternal grandmother?
No.
Okay, she was living here in Monroe with someone?
No,
She only lived, go ahead, just tell where you live.
my mom lives in Jerome. Right now, my address resides in Iowa, but my mom has always lived in Michigan. So she has more than ample space.
No,
And
the question is, when you, before you left, where did you live?
I lived in Temperance, Michigan.
Okay, so you're not going to return to that home in Temperance, Michigan, is that correct, Ms. Sager?
No, I'm going to be
Correct.
in Jerome.
Okay, and who else lives with your mother?
My sister and my
Okay,
niece. My stepdad passed away last month, so he's no
Your
your
longer.
sister and your niece?
Yes,
Okay, and how many bedrooms are in that home?
there's 4 bedrooms.
Okay, so there's adequate space for the minor child? She have her
Yes.
own bed?
Yes,
All right, did she go to Madison School before she moved to Iowa?
no,
Oh, she was in Bedford because you were in Temperance
Yeah,
at that time, all
yeah.
right.
he was at that.
All right, so obviously that we're not going to keep moving around, so the child will stay in the Madison School. What about so Mr. Riddle, we can specify that the mother's parenting time shall occur in the home of the maternal grandmother in Jerome, Michigan. And let's maybe talk about a midpoint between Adrian and Michigan. Adrian and Jerome, the court does not, I know generally where Jerome is. And the two of you agree upon a midpoint rather than exchanging here in Monroe County?
On her own parenting time. What's the midway point between Jerome and Adrian? My
Devil-
client is proposing a Devil's Lake is roughly halfway through, and there's a gas station there that would be equal.
What road is it on? 223?
Main road, yeah, 223.
I'm sorry?
Yes, the main
He
road.
thinks it's 223, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, Miss Fulmer, what about that? Are the parties exchanging at the Devil's Lake
Yeah.
gas station on US
Yeah.
223?
Yes, Your Honor,
Alright.
that's perfect.
Your Honor, is there a name of gas station, or would the court just like me to put Devil's Lake Gas Station on 23?
My client states that he believes it's a BP, but he's not 100% sure.
Ms. Pettit, will you just simply indicate the exchange at the gas station on the Devil's Lake on US 223?
223, got it, Your Honor.
It's
Correct.
across from the golf course, if that's helpful.
Okay, but both parties seem to know the location. I guess next question is when will we begin the overnight rotations?
We'd like to begin today, Your Honor. My client obviously has not seen her daughter in what, 4 weeks
Well,
or so,
since
roughly.
I've seen her one time since, he
Okay.
took
Okay, so how many weeks?
2 weeks. It's been since November 1st.
Okay. So, Your Honor, I would ask that my client be able to also just start today and maybe through next Friday, because she has not had any time with her daughter since this occurred. So this is the 20th, so like roughly 3 weeks. So we would ask, with the holiday, and she has been here waiting, just asking Mr. Thompson to have she would have even agreed to at the time before now, just so that they can get together.
All right,
But mom and daughter need to reunite, Your Honor.
understood. And obviously daughter and dad need to reunite as well. Mr.
they have
Vig, what's your suggestion and thoughts in terms of when mother shall begin her 4 overnights?
Your Honor, what I would propose, and this would allow Ms. Sager to have parent time with a minor child for Thanksgiving. My client has plans with the minor child commencing tomorrow. I plan to go to Florida to visit family and then come back. They would be back on the evening of the 25th. And so that's why we were proposing for that parenting time for Ms. Sager to begin on the 26th. That would allow my client to have that family trip that Raylan is really looking forward to. But it would also allow that Ms. Sager would have an opportunity to have Thanksgiving with their daughter. While I see where Ms. Sager's counsel is coming from about Ms. Sager being so long without her child because of the court order, but I would just remind the court that my client went even longer, more than 3 months without seeing his daughter. So, and I think that this proposal that I'm suggesting is a fair counter. It will allow him to spend time with the minor child, do a holiday dinner down with a trip that she's really looking forward to, and still allow Ms. Sager to have time over the holidays with Raylan.
So the child's gonna be taken out of school, missing a couple days of school, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Well, she's got so much going on in her life. I question whether the wisdom of taking this child out of school for 2 days. She'll be out of school on Friday, the 22nd, and for Monday, the 25th.
She would miss the 21st, the 22nd. She have a half day on the 21st. You're leaving on the 28th. So the child would miss the 22nd. He's leaving after school on the 21st, and she would miss the 25th because those are both travel days, the 22nd and the 25th.
It's a half day, so 27.
And Your Honor, Raylan was already late being enrolled in school. Mr. Thompson, it was a whole week before he got her enrolled in school, so she's behind. And she does have an IEP that mom was working with her very hands-on with. So she should not be missing any school at all. And if we do that, then we need to do a week on and week off then, if that's the case, because, that would balance it out a little more evenly.
Right. Ms. Patrick, do you have any thoughts, recommendation? First of all, the court's not going to remove this child. The domicile, if it's granted, will not occur till the end of the school year. This child's not going to be bouncing around back and forth. So Ms. Fulmer should understand, and Ms. Singer should understand, Ms. Fulmer, that even if the court ultimately grants that request, the court's not going to allow any change domicile until after the current school year. So this child needs to have some continuity, consistency.
We understand, Your Honor. We don't question that at all. We expect that. We understand.
Your
So
Honor, the reason that I made the recommendation of the 4 overnights is both parties had expressed concerns about each other's homes and sleeping arrangements. So I was hesitant to do 7 overnights in each home. I thought 4 would be easier to monitor because both parties had expressed concerns about each other's homes and sleeping arrangements. I would be very concerned that this child is being taken out of state when she had been out of state, and then we brought her back, and now we're taking her out of state again. I concur with the court that the child should probably remain in school, and I am concerned that she's being taken to Florida now. So I'm not sure I would recommend that, Your Honor.
Well, why don't we have the mom watch the child when dad goes to Florida?
That would be an idea, Your
This is
Honor.
not something the child's been looking forward to for months. Obviously, it was just told to her probably last week, oh, let's go to Florida. So, Mr. Yes, we can begin Mother's Parenting Time on the 22nd when Mr. Thompson is out of town.
Your Honor, the purpose of the trip was to allow the 3 siblings, Ray Lynn and her 10-year-old brother and the 15-year-old sister, to all go on this family trip together so they can bond, because they've essentially been 3 or more months without that relationship because of mom's move. And so it's to be a way for them to be able to
hold on, Ms. Fulmer. Hold on. Let Mr. Vito finish, please.
To be a way for them to be able to facilitate that bond in a family setting. And certainly I think an appropriate prophylactic would be for the court to say that Mr. Thompson shall return the minor children to the state of Michigan. He's not the one that left the state without asking the court permission. And in a normal course of parenting time, people take vacations, and he's not the one that absconded with the child. So to say that he shouldn't be able to do that ignores reality. Now, the court's concerned about the child missing school. That's understandable, right? And I don't have a good answer to that. I think that my client was attempting to place that facilitating of that bond with family. He's originally from Florida. So like they have extended family down there. He figured that'd be a good way to do like a welcome home. But with regard to those missed dates, I don't have a good answer for that.
Has Mr. Thompson already purchased acquired tickets? Why can't he do this over the Christmas longer holiday, so the child's not missing school?
Have you already purchased tickets? He's driving, Your Honor, and he's also asking you whether or not it wouldn't be better to do this over a longer holiday like the Christmas holiday schedule.
This is one of those, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not the one. Well, this is my family set up their deal, so it's not like I'm like trying to go around me and I'm like, this is already set in hand before I even had Ray Lynn. So when they say it was just last week, I've been knowing. So.
I didn't hear a word that Mr. Thompson stated. He's too far from the device, so he's driving. He's not bought tickets. He's driving, so he can reschedule that Florida trip sometime during the Christmas holidays. If we need to come back, we can come back for the Christmas holidays for another review. And the court will follow Ms. Patrick's recommendation: 4 nights overnight with each parent. The question is the time frames and when we start this.
We would like to start tonight, Your Honor, so my client can have, which will run into, and then if the Thompson is going to Florida, then we would like to have mom to have the child until it comes back.
Mr. Vito, will Mr. Thompson still be going to Florida, notwithstanding the fact that the child will remain here?
Your Honor, I didn't hear the question. I apologize.
Will Mr. Thompson be going to Florida even though the minor child will be remain here in Michigan?
No, not gonna go.
He said he's not going to go, Your Honor.
Thank you.
It's important, Mr. Thompson. It's important that you reconnect your child of this relationship with your children of another relationship and then schedule that over Christmas. And then when we can, and the court would certainly permit that. But right now, there's too much, this child's in a tailspin right now, too much going on. So she needs to stay in school for this holiday. So we can, if you want, Mr. Vito, we can schedule review dates the week before Christmas. If in fact Mr. Thompson wishes to reschedule, propose a time, if that's an issue, we can have you give you a review date before Christmas. If it's not an issue, then we'll leave on the review date of January 14th.
Leave it on for January, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, let's again talk about when mother will have her 4 nights over basis and the times. They will exchange the minor child at the gas station in Devils Lake, Michigan on US 223. Let's talk about a time and when mother will begin. Obviously, Ms. Sager wants as soon as possible. Mr. Vito, what's the position of Mr. Thompson? Does he have any plans this weekend with the child?
Yeah, he would propose that it begin Monday, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Fulmer, obviously your client wants it to begin tonight.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So the mother will have parenting time with starting the 4 overnights commencing November 25, which is Monday. What time do they want to meet at the gas station?
4 o'clock.
The 6 p.m. is fine, Your Honor, I believe.
Can we do 4?
No, 6.
And Your Honor, Mr. Thompson, if I may just implore to the court, I mean, I don't know what the difference is other than just to keep the child away from mom more.
Right, that's it. The court's already made that decision, November 25. Let's agree upon a time.
4, can we do 4, Your Honor?
Your Honor, Patrice or Ms. Patrick had initially suggested 6 p.m. I think that's a fair time.
Well, what time does the child eat dinner? I mean, child did eat dinner at 7 o'clock. Should we make this earlier? Will mother have a dinner with the child or dad can have dinner?
It depends on what time. I mean, my client is asking.
5 o'clock. We'll make it 5 o'clock. Ms. Patrick, the party shall meet at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. for all exchanges commencing November 25, 2024, 5 o'clock. And then the parties will meet then 4 days later, 5 o'clock, which is Thanksgiving evening.
Well, 4 overnights. If mom starts her overnights on the 25th, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 overnights should take her through the 29th.
That's correct, right? Court stands corrected. So yes, then the parties would meet and then November 29th at 5 p.m. and continue rotating every 4 overnights. The court would further suggest that the parties consider mediation in terms of all these issues, not only modification of parenting time, but the future, whether it's change of domicile, if there's any leeway. If there's not, then when we come back on January 14th, the court will schedule an evidentiary hearing on the request to change of domicile.
Your Honor, we also, I mean, that hearing should also be about the show cause as well. I mean, that's sort of fallen off the table here, and it shouldn't have, because, you know, what was done was at best negligent and at worst deliberate, and that's not something that we're conceding. So, like, whatever evidentiary hearing we have, like, that certainly should be addressed there.
Absolutely, it's certainly a factor to be considered in the evidentiary hearing, but the court's not going to find Ms. Sager in contempt at this point or put her in jail. But certainly that's going to be a significant factor, the fact that she just leaves without the knowledge or approval or consent of dad in this case. That would certainly be a factor to consider in any change of domicile hearing. But the court recognizes that, Mr. Vito. Anything further than this afternoon, Mr. Vito, Ms. Volmar?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
If there's any issues, someone can petition the court in the interim. But again, in front of the court, Ms. Patrick, you're suggesting the court will investigate and interview both parties and the child. The child's only 7 regarding this change of domicile. Is that correct?
That's
Yes.
correct, Your Honor. I do understand that the child is relatively on the young side, but I think this case calls for the 7-year-old to be interviewed.
All right. So the court will adopt that, and the parties' parenting time will be on a rotating 4-night over basis, commencing with the plaintiff mother having parenting time on November 25 at 5 p.m. until 5 p.m. on November 29th. The parties' all exchanges shall occur at 5 o'clock, again at the gas station in Devils Lake, Michigan on US 223. The child shall not leave the state of Michigan until further order of the court. And the parties will appear back before the court for review January 14th, 10 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, that will conclude this hearing. We can both zoom out. Thank you, Ms. Patrick.
Your Honor, on January, one last thing, on the 14th, I do have one quick petition in probate court in Wayne County. It should only take 15 minutes. Can we start at 10:15, Your Honor?
That's fine. What else do we have on the 14th? Do I have 10:30? Okay, do we have some at 10:30? How about 10:30?
Okay,
Ms. Vidal, will that work with your schedule, January 14th at 10:30 for the review?
That works.
All right, Ms. Patrick, if you're still here, the court will change the time for the review, 10:30.
Yes, Your Honor, I will do that.
Thank you.